Hello everyone and welcome to Adam Sharp YouTube channel. And this is the second part of creating better or building better navigation in SwiftUI. So if you haven't watched the first part, don't worry, you can find the link in the YouTube description, but I highly recommend that you watch the first part because the second part is based on the first part. So in the first part, we learn that how can we get inspiration from React framework and how can we create this navigate environment value that allows us to perform navigation in a really nice and a beautiful way. But I mentioned in the first part that this kind of navigation, the way that we are set up, is not really going to work if you are using tab views. And you can see the reason that it's not going to work is in the container or the content container view, which is just for the previews, we're using one routes array, which is of type routes. And anytime something happens, that particular route is added to the routes array, which is fine in this case because in this case we don't really have any tabs. But once we start adding tabs, then each tab will have its own route or navigation stack. So let's go ahead and see that how this technique that we are using with the navigate can work when we are using tab views. So the first item on the list is, well, we need to create tab views, right? That's the first thing we need to do. So what I'm going to do is I am going to somewhere on the top, and this has nothing to do with the navigation. I'm just going to create an enum and I'll call it app screen. This will be hashable. This will be identifiable and case iterable. Now inside over there, I'm going to add different cases that I want. I want patients and doctors. So these will be the two tabs that we will be working with. I can also go ahead and extend this, the app screen, and I can add labels for it, meaning what do we want to display, right? So these will be the actual things, actual views that will be displayed, the label. If it's patient, we're going to return a label with a patient's and a heart. So the label will eventually be displayed like over here. So there will be two tabs. So this will be kind of like patients and this will be doctors. And then the image for the patient will be heart and doctors will be star. Okay, so that looks fine. Now, how do we create the tab view? So let's go back somewhere at the bottom. Right now we're using a content view, and in the content view, you can see there's not really much going on. I mean, we have the buttons and stuff, but what we want to do is in the content view, we should be able to create tabs. So that will be kind of like our root view. In order to create the tabs, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to use a binding so that this can be selected. And the reason I'm using binding over here is that the parent is going to be sending this, or parent will be using this. All right, so don't worry too much about the content container view right now. It's going to change a lot. So don't worry too much about it. Actually, we can probably remove some of the stuff over here, and I can say content view. You can see the content container view, and we can create a state variable over here. So I'm just removing everything from over here. And now I can say selection, and we can pass a binding selection. Perfect. All right. Now going back to the code, I'm also going to remove the navigate part of it. I'm also going to remove everything now because we want to, display the tabs, right? So in order to display a tab, I'm going to use a tab view. That's how you display a tab. Selection can be selection over here, which is a binding operation. And for the content, I don't think I need all of this stuff. So I am going to remove most of it and use a trailing closure for each app screen, the one that we implemented earlier on, all cases. So since it is case iterable, I can actually do that. Screen in, and now I can say over here, well, we need to see what will be the destination. We don't really have the destination, I guess, over here. So I'm just going to use a text view over here. Let's see what happens. Dot tag screen as app screen. So that is what we are going to be using. And for the tab item, we can also use a label, which is good because we already have the label, screen.label. And let's see if it actually builds correctly. Oops, it's having some issues. Let's go ahead and build it. Okay, there we go. So it's also having issues over here in our actual Learn Navigation app, which is the starting point of our application. Don't worry too much about it right now. What I'm going to do is I'm kind of like going to comment this out for now and going to say content. Well, I still have to use content view, I guess. Okay, so I can probably pass in the binding, same way that I was doing before. So private var, I will say selection. And what was the selection? I think it was app screen, right? App screen. And we should be able to pass selection. So we can say selection. Okay, going back again to the actual content view, let's go ahead and build the app. Build is successful. Okay, so we got 2 tabs over here. That's pretty good. We got the patients and we got doctors. Now, the question is, when I click on any of these things, when I tap on patients, when I tap on doctors, there is no navigation stack. There is no view that is being displayed. And we can see that we're using a text over here. If I go ahead and say something over here in the text, I can see the text view saying hello. And if I go to doctor, it's the same text view. Both are using the same one. So this needs to be changed. It cannot be text hello because we want the different root view for patients and a different root view for doctors. And what you can do is if you go again to the app screen, apart from having the label, we can also create another property over here. We can call it destination. This will be some view, and we can perform a switch. Switch on self. If it is patients, then go ahead and display patient navigation stack. Now, if you don't want to call it patient navigation stack, you want to call it patient home, that's perfectly fine. I think I'm just being a little bit more descriptive so people will know what it is. Doctor navigation stack. It's just so that it's clear what it is. Let's mark it with view builder because this is returning different views for each of these cases. Now, we don't really have a patient navigation stack, and we definitely don't have a doctor navigation stack. So that will be our next step, that how do we build patient navigation stack and doctor navigation stack. And these are just views, nothing more and nothing less. So patient navigation stack, which is a view. So this means it should have a body. And I can simply go ahead and say over here, patient navigation stack. And that will be very similar. I mean, the doctor navigation stack will be super similar for this one. So I'm just going to copy it and just use a doctor navigation stack. And now we can go back, and where we're using the text, we can use screen.destination. And now you can see that since the patients tab is selected, I am looking at the root view patient navigation stack, and now it is doctor navigation stack. So it's changing, right? So this means that we are switching between patient navigation stack and doctor navigation stack. So that is amazing. That is pretty good. So what's the next thing that we want to do? Well, when we display patient navigation stack, and this patient navigation stack is in the first tab, right? So all of this will be displayed. This will be inside a navigation stack for patients. When we go to the doctor, then this particular stack, all of the things that will be displayed, all the hierarchy, navigation, that will be inside a different navigation stack, right? So we need to create a, as you can guess, a navigation stack. Okay, let's go ahead and create a navigation stack. Let's go ahead and wrap this one also in navigation stack. There we go. Okay, we got both of these in the navigation stack, and both of these, patient navigation stack and doctor navigation stack, should maintain their own history or own routes. So that's the most important part. Now, currently, if we look over here, we have patient route, so that's pretty good. We have doctor route, that is also pretty good. And we have also a route. So what we can do, some of the things we already have, so that's actually pretty good. Go to the patient navigation stack and we'll create a state variable, private var, and we'll say routes, and this will be of type patient route. And we'll start with nothing, empty. In the navigation stack, we can now pass in the path, which is routes. All right. Now, whatever screen, whatever thing that you want to display over here, that's perfectly fine. I think you can say patient dashboard or patient home screen, whatever. That's all of that stuff is fine. Navigation destination for patient route.self, and we will get the route, and then in this case route.destination. Perfect. So that remains the same. And now we'll do the environment part. So environment for a navigate, and we will get the navigation or navigate action. I think that's what we call it, navigate action. And we'll get the action, we'll get the route. Now we need to check if this particular route is patient. I think it's called patient or patients. If patient route, not like that. I guess we'll have to say patient route. Let's see, PA patient route. We can just call it patient route. If equals to route, then routes.append the patient route. Probably it's just patients. Let me actually first make sure. So over here we have if case let route over here. We'll have to double check this. What is route over here? So let's see. Route dot destination, or if we do a switch on the route, we can easily see it has patient. Yeah, so it has patient, so it should be patient. Probably I'm doing something wrong. There we go. And this will not be double equal to, it should be just equal to. That's a mistake. Okay, so there we go. So basically what we're doing is, what we're saying is, if the navigate, you're using navigate and you fire a navigate action, we get access to a route, and then we're checking if that route that we got is a patient route, then and only then add it to the routes collection. Because this collection that we have, or this array that we have, it only manages patient routes, and that's it. All right. Now let's see if we have any patient screens. We can definitely check it out. We have patient route. We have. We don't really have. Doesn't really look like we have any screens over here. But not to worry. I can quickly create a screen and we can actually test it out. So where is our routes? Doctor route. All of this stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to create a patient screen right here. Patient dashboard screen. So instead of the text over here as your home screen, we can change it to patient dashboard screen. And what's going on in the patient dashboard screen? Well, it gets access to the navigate. There's only a single button in the patient dashboard screen which says patient list, and we can navigate to the patient list. Perfect. Let's see if that actually works. Currently, we have only done this for our patient route. Okay, patient list. All right, there we go. We're able to do that. And if we go to doctors, doctor is still hanging around on the doctor navigation stack. right? So let's see. Now we can probably just copy some of this stuff. I mean, this stuff will remain the same, I guess, right? So we can go ahead and do that. Instead of patient, it will become doctor route because it is doctor. And we will, this is all fine. So all of the things that were patient will become doctor. So this will become doctor. Let's call it doctor route. Let's call it doctor route and so on. And instead of the patient dashboard screen, we will have a doctor dashboard screen. So I'm just going to copy patient dashboard screen and call it doctor dashboard screen. And we'll call it doctor list, I guess. That's fine. Doctor list. I mean, you can go any route that you want, but I'm just going to doctor list. Okay, let's double check it over here. This should be doctor dashboard screen. Okay, that looks pretty good, I think. Let's go and check it out. Doctor list, show list of all the doctors. Okay, and go to patient. Now I'm over here, patient route list, and I can hang around. So now you can see that both of these routes are managed. For each tab, you're using a navigation stack, and they are managed on their own, which is exactly the thing that you want. So what happens if you add more tabs? Well, each tab you will have to create a separate navigation stack because each tab routing or navigation history will be maintained in a separate navigation stack. Now, the other question can be, since this is quite same, like patient navigation stack is pretty much same as doctor navigation stack, should I be using some sort of generics so I don't have to do this again? Yeah, I mean, you can definitely try it out and you can create generics. Just make sure that their functionalities are different because sometimes, you know, we use generics and we apply on different situations and then just one minor thing is different and then it all, you know, gets messed up. So we have to make sure that if you're using a generic solution, like maybe you're doing a, I don't know, like something navigation stack. I don't even know what to call it, I guess, over here. Generic navigation stack or something. Then they are both providing the same and using kind of like the same structure that can be helped by introducing generics. Now, right now, if you run the application, it's not really going to work in the simulator correctly because we haven't really updated our Learn Navigation app. That is still, you can see, is still kind of like the same, right? I mean, we can definitely check it out, actually. It's always a good idea to check it out. Maybe it will actually work because all the stuff is now inside something else, inside the content view. So we're not really doing anything. So let me go ahead and, so maybe I was wrong in that sense that it's not going to work because I was still thinking about, oh, we need to set up the navigation stack and we need to set up the environment. But then I realized that all of these things are actually set up already inside the content view and inside the particular navigation stacks. So let's see, let's try to run this and see that if we have to do anything over here or not. So doctor, okay, patient. All right, that's pretty good. That's also good. So it looks like it's actually working pretty nicely. Each of these tabs is maintaining its own navigation stack. We got the back button. There we go. We got the back button. Perfect. See? So there you have it. Inspired from React, we implemented a React hook-like structure called environment value, and it provides you really nice and easy to use navigation using the navigate hook that we just created. Now keep in mind that if you're building a small and a simple application, this might be an overkill. If you are building a large application, then this will benefit you. So make sure that you are not blindly using it, but you're giving it a lot of thought of will this technique benefit you in your application or not. I mean, just because it's a lot of code doesn't really mean that it's going to benefit you. if you can achieve the same thing with less code and less complexity, that is always going to be much better. All right, so hopefully you have enjoyed this. Thank you so much. One more thing I want to mention over here. If you like this video, please check out my website, which is called adamsharp.school. This is where I host all of my courses. You can see that my courses are available for Superbase for iOS developers, Swift data, core data, SwiftUI architecture. I mean, anything you can think of, I will have a course on it for iOS development. Also, I am hosting a lot of workshops this year. So you can see we just wrapped up the server-side Swift workshops, and I'm now hosting the Swift Data Fundamental workshop that will be on September 28th. These are 3-hour workshop, very hands-on Zoom. So, and you will learn a lot, because I think, you can spend like weeks learning Swift data on your own, but I think in workshops, I'll give you activities, I'll be there to help you out. So it will be much easier for you to learn in the workshops rather than trying to figure it out on your own, which is fine, but it's going to take some time. So why not attend the workshop, have fun, meet with other people also, and try to learn. Then there is introduction to testing workshops, and then even a Superbase workshop. All right, so there are a lot of workshops, a lot of courses. So definitely check out adamsharp.school. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up or a like, and share it with other people. Thank you.